Just fine.
We're like those YouTubers our kids watch where they just review other videos. They react. They call it reaction videos. That's always it's just a reaction show. You just sit there. Oh,
don't say that, dude. I will quit.
Max reacts.
That's it. I'm out. Sex, seniority, and salary in that order.
Rock on. You're on 121.5, the emergency frequency.
It's a show by professional pilots for professional pilots.
I looked back at them and I said, I don't think we're at the right airport. And they go, I don't think we are either.
Each episode, we bring you fascinating conversations with industry experts.
I think I should be a go-to on how to deal with 63, 64-year-old men.
You're going to chase it like a dog chasing a school bus.
But we're not just about the serious stuff. We're here to have fun.
Currently on an overnight in Orlando, and this is by far hell. This is the worst place on earth.
It's a whole thing.
The 21.5 Professional Pilots Podcast is your destination for everything aviation, whether you're cruising in the flight levels or just starting your journey. Very, very uncommon. Max has requested an 8 p.m. recording here of the 21.5 show.
It's going to be becoming more common.
Welcome to the show. It's the show for the pros, for the sleepy pros, for the pros flying PMs.
Wide awake, baby.
Wide awake, locked in. Max and I recently did a trip to Japan. Well, I guess it was a couple months ago. And we started sleep training our bodies before we left to adjust to the time zone. And Max is using those techniques to adjust. Can you explain why you're staying up late, Max?
Just a long story, but basically, right now, we've determined PMs are best for my family right now to start late on my first day, just for reasons that nobody cares about. But so I'm definitely a morning phenotype person. I'm a morning person, but I am trying to train myself to shift. But when I'm home, I still got to get up at 6 to get kids to school and stuff. But
right.
Anyway, I'm trying to shift a couple hours to accommodate both schedules. It's it's fun. It's fun.
It's a whole thing.
Sometimes it's a whole thing. You just got to sometimes embrace your decision, and you got to move out smartly. So that's what I'm doing.
Exactly. Well, this is perfect. We're using the show as an outlet for you to do some training. So this is great. It's 2 birds with 1 stone. You're getting paid to stay up late, Max.
Love it.
Yeah.
Just like at work.
Just like at work. Yeah, exactly. Get paid a little bit more there, but that's okay. Great. Well, let's get going. Woke up this morning. I was catching an early flight out of Sky Harbor. Lots to talk about there, but I don't know when you started looking at your phone this morning, but the first thing I saw was a horrific collision in New York with an RJ and a fire truck. And that was that was tough to see.
That is rough.
Yeah.
And listening to the transcript, the ATC tapes, it's just like, dude. And then I listened to that first, like twice, trying to make sure I understood what was going on as best I could. And then I watched the CCTV video.
Mm-hmm.
And dude, it is just some, a mistake was made. It's a runway incursion situation, but I think the timing of when the fire truck entered the runway and where the arriving aircraft was in its approach and landing and rollout just could not have been worse.
Yeah, it was just so bad.
They couldn't go around. They were already like on the ground. I'm sure with the buckets out, the whole deal, and the fire truck. And the guy talking on the radio, the fire truck guy, was very professional. His readbacks were like flawless. I was like, wow. And I'm just like, oh, man, it's just hard. It's hard. It's always harder in all these accents. It's always, easy to sit here and on the video. I'm like, how did you not see, the airplane rolling out of the runway before you entered it? But like, but it's the same thing in all these runway incursions. It's like, but yeah, that one was hard to watch. It sucks.
Yeah, it was a real tough, and we obviously don't know many details right now. I think the only thing that we read that I think has been confirmed is that it was one controller working both ground and
it sure
tower.
Sounded like that, and there was like stuff going on. The problem, of course, the the additive conditions. United had like declared an emergency on the ground and like trying to get back to their gate, and like the controllers trying to coordinate, get them a gate because they said their company ops isn't answering. It's just like, so this guy is just spread thin, I think, and it sure sounds like he just made a mistake. But
yeah,
man,
terrible.
I know. I sent this to you. Like, what are we, an accident investigation show now? I'm like, dude,
seems like
lately, like it's just every time there's stuff that's going down. It sucks. I feel like a couple years before this, there was like nothing, and then
it does seem to go in waves, doesn't it?
Yeah, it sure does. It's too bad.
Yep. It is a shame.
What else?
Well, I was going to tell you on the other side.
How was the security line?
Oh my gosh! So I went early.
I saw
today.
that on the news.
I went early today. I was like, I'll just. I mean, I don't know about you, but basically my move is I show up 1 hour before the scheduled departure, typically.
Oh yeah,
at Sky Harbor. That's and I mean, you obviously have more credentials than me, but like if you're doing a corporate trip where you're like a paying passenger, is about what you do.
Oh, even still, dude. Yeah, pre-check or whatever. You know, because
I'm not using
I have
that
pre-check.
stuff. I have all those things.
Yeah.
So
if you're not checking bags, an hour's
it's
generous.
Plenty. Yeah. So show up for that, and it was if you've ever been to Sky Harbor Terminal 4, they've got like this shopping center kind of in the middle of the terminal there, and the SkyTrain, the line was beyond the SkyTrain, and I kind of walked up there. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is insane. And of course, news cameras are there, and everyone's just sort of like in awe.
Wait, was pre-check or clear?
Well, that's
any advantage.
So there was this huge line, and I'm like, well, I've got clear. So I'm going to attempt to get to the clear area and see if I can go through there, because the app said it was open. So as I was walking up to get towards the clear, I never actually got there when they opened another security checkpoint on the other side, which for pre-check only, on the side that I actually needed to go to. So I walked right up, and I was in less than 10 minutes. So I don't know, but I think that for the next few, well, I don't know how many days, but it's you better be ready with for some delays or prepared. I don't know. It's tough, man. And I know there was appeared to be some type of TSA manager working, because he was not in the regular blue uniform. I mean, they had like all hands on deck to get people through.
Yeah, they got ICE coming.
It's
ICE coming to assist.
I mean, and to me, it's just so frustrating, because these quasi shutdowns where everyone has to work without pay is just the worst. It's so stupid. And I just wish that the TSA would just not show up and just grind everything to a halt, and it would last a day. And everyone would be demanding that these shutdown ends.
I know, dude. Well, it's our politicians.
Yeah,
like,
I know.
And these jabronis will like leave on recess when there's like,
it's so stupid.
Joke.
So they can do this theater where they have the shutdown, and then all of a sudden, but
and it's not like these TSA, poor TSA people are like, living the high life. Like, some people, you miss a paycheck by a week. That's puts you in a real hardship. Like it's not cool.
Yeah, exactly. So, anyways, that was my experience, and I've got an airline again tomorrow. So we'll see how that goes. But
could be an interesting week.
It's going to be a rough week. I don't know how long. I guess nobody knows at this point. I haven't looked at the news today. Has there been any updates? Does Southwest ever send you guys stuff when it comes to that?
Yeah, they sent us something.
Is KCM still operational?
No.
Oh.
Well, yeah, but KCM's being sunset, so, and because that's, it's going to be administered by the TSA, which it is not. The system is not administered by the TSA, and it's going to be sometime.
I didn't know that. Wait, so will there be a new system?
Yeah. When you go to the and you get the facial recognition scan, it's going to be like that, apparently.
So you'll still have your own way to go through.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's going to be utilizing facial recognition. They haven't said all the details, at least that I've seen. So
okay, that'll be better, hopefully. Have you flown with that? Remember that captain you flew with who would wear the random hat?
Oh yeah, that was the best. Nope, got random.
Put it on.
Put a trucker hat on. It said random, and go get in line and just make a scene. That was so good.
They're all random. So right now, can you use if at KCM right now, like tomorrow, if you don't even know?
Yeah. Well, last week you could. I don't know.
Wow. Well,
seems like a long time, dude. But certain
yeah, I know that's the problem. One airport to another is completely different. My friend was in Miami. Did you see the pictures in Miami today?
No, is it a war zone?
Oh my gosh!
And like we've had airports that just like, oh yeah, there's no more KCM here.
Yeah,
sorry.
So we're gonna do that here. Remember the good old days at American Eagle? When there would be like at certain stations, they just like open a door.
Oh yeah, you just like go through the ticket counter and they'd open like some secret door.
Did you ever go down the slide at the baggage? They had this. I think it was in Texas. This was on the Saab. This was Saab only. Dallas, or I used to fly the Saab out of Dallas to all the really small towns. So this is probably College Station. Somebody listening will know. My guess is it was College Station, but I could be wrong. Maybe Longview, one of these cities, where the check-in desk was on the second floor, and the bags needed to get down to the first floor. So they would put the bags on the belt, and then it would go down this spiral slide. It just looked like a slide at a playground. Yeah, you could just like slide down the first floor. So we do that sometimes.
It's fun with your bag.
I learned the key is go bag first, then you.
Yeah, I would think, dude, especially if you had that luggage works. Just atrocity, kill you. OJI.
Oh, I'm out. Hey, speaking of bags, fun little shout out. I ran down to the FBO tonight, and somebody forgot to put the gear pins in the plane. I'm not going to name any names, but I went back there to put the gear pins in the plane. But a listener came up and introduced himself while I was there, Chris, who's super cool, and chatted with him for a minute. He has a Paradox bag, the big Paradox bag, yeah. And
Stud.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Black.
I get a lot of comments still on mine, like, "Oh, that's fancy luggage." Or people.
His looks cool.
Weird stuff.
Yeah. So shout out to Chris. Thanks for saying hi, and that is a cool suitcase. What else, Max? What other musings do you have here? What have you been up to? You've been flying your Cub?
I am in condition inspection, which is what an annual is called for an experimental. I'm in condition inspection hell. Every time I think, this is just going to go easy.
Mm-hmm.
I got just bent over for an ELT battery that's just ridiculous, but that's, you just got to swallow those things sometimes. Those are just inordinately expensive for what it is. But what you do is just like service bulletin, you tap on the horizontal stabilizer. And I don't know if you've ever looked at, I'm sure you haven't looked at like especially these modern Cub variations that have a lot of power taking off, dude, but the tail surfaces, and they're designed to do this, but they literally look like they're like flapping, like wings on a bird. Like they flex so much. It's unbelievable. I can send you a video. It's crazy. So anyway, there's a service bulletin on mine. You go and you tap the horizontal stabilizer, and there's a little cross brace between two ribs that can crack and then come loose. And so if you hear a rattling in there, then you need to comply with the rest of the service bulletin, which includes cutting open your fabric on your horizontal stabilizer and welding the internals of the tail of this and adding a gusset plate that they've come up with to prevent this problem. And it happens more on the left because of the P factor, or because of the prop wash, the way it's rotating. Yeah. So I do this all the time, and I go in there and tap, and I'm like, my buddy was there. I'm like, did you hear that? It's like, yeah. And I, start tapping it more, and there's like a little rattle in there. I'm like, oh, dude, this is so bad. This is not good. So, needless to say, I removed it today, and I have it in my shop at my house, and I'm getting ready to do horizontal stabilizer surgery tomorrow, which is really drag. And then, because then it's one thing to cut it open, right? Like you're supposed to cut like a 4x4 square on both sides so you get access. And I got our boy Vernon. Remember Vernon from the Keybird?
Yep.
Talked to him today because he's going to because it's pretty delicate welding, and I weld, but
Vernon welds.
Things.
That's another level.
Certain things we take it to. I weld, wrought iron fencing,
Right.
and I can MIG weld bumpers for my trucks and but delicate, important structural things that are surrounded by fabric that will burn. That's when you take it to the pros. And Vernon is a pro for sure. So I talked to him, and anyway, so I got to cut it open tomorrow, and then once it's all repaired, then you got to patch it or cut it all off and recover the whole thing. So it's a drag. It's a bummer, man.
I have had more.
And then once you've patched it, though, then the real fun of painting it, repainting the whole surface, the whole thing. So it'll, so that's where I'm at. That's my, again, worst hobby in the world is aviation.
Definitely.
Maybe hard drugs is worse, but not by much.
It might be cheaper.
Yeah, it's probably cheaper. Probably less
Coin
dangerous.
toss. Yeah. Jeez. That's brutal.
So needless to say, Dylan, I really don't want to talk about
the plane. Okay. That's great.
It's a tough week.
Tough week. You were doing a really good job of selling me on buying a plane again, and then this happened. It's just the way it goes.
You could always pay someone to do it.
It's true. I guess that's
if you can't be bothered with these type of things. But listen, it's one of those things. It sucks, and I'm bummed out right now because now I got to go to the hangar and horse around instead of pull it out and go fly. But you do learn a lot. Like I don't know how I've never patched like a substantial patch on fabric.
Mm-hmm.
So you get out the manual and you read it and you look at some YouTube videos and you're like, all right, well, here we go, and you figure it out. And then you learn some stuff. And
I would say anyone listening to this, go fly in Max's airplane. He's watched some YouTube videos. He's ready. It's good. We're fine.
No problem. Listen, it's just a small patch. Relax.
Got on there.
It ain't rocket
Looked at
science.
Twitter for a minute. He's dialed.
No, everything's fine. YouTube University to the rescue once again.
Yeah, it's insane. Well, I had a busy. I've been crisscrossing the country. This is a busy time for us. And have you been into Teterboro recently?
Not in 5 years at least, or more. Yeah, 5 years.
Really?
I think it's been 5 years.
That's incredible.
We don't go there.
Good. You're not missing. Yeah, I mean, you're not missing out on anything. There.
No, I don't. I've been there enough. I'm good. I'm not even enamored. Like, dude, we have the overnight, in LaGuardia, and it's like in Times Square. I'm like, get me out of here, dude. Yeah, that's good. Let's drive an hour through the freaking tunnel. Like, screw that. I'm over it.
Oh man. Yeah, every time that we go in there just enough to forget that it's super bumpy once it gets below about 4,000 feet there, and they keep you low for so long coming in. You're just
which you're at 100 miles out.
It was the worst it's ever been the other day. Just pounded and
do not slow down early. Woo.
Although I've noticed that. So we have the airspace overlay. This is actually what I want to talk about, so I'm glad you brought this up. On your, I'm sure the G280 can do it, where you can bring the airspace up, so you can kind of see where the Class Bravo airspace is and where you are. You can bring up the JEP airspace chart too.
Yep.
And I've noticed lately, because we pay attention, try and follow the rules, and slow down to 200. But I've noticed that when they're going there. If you're doing 250 below it, they'll say normal speed. That's sort of their code word now. Have you heard this?
To encourage you to slow, or
I think it's them saying like you can.
So they're not telling you to do 250, and they're hoping that you just don't know, and you're going to keep going 250.
No, I think I took it the other way as like, oh hey, you can do normal speed. Like you don't have to do 250 anymore. I don't know. I'd be curious to see how people interpret that. I've been paying attention as we come up to that airspace. If you're not going 200, they'll say normal speed. It's sort of like you can slow down now. That's why I'm taking that.
Okay,
but I don't know. The reason I brought it up is I wanted to hear if the listeners had any thoughts on that, and if that was what they were trying to do, was communicate like, yeah, you can slow down. It's okay. Because I'm like you. I feel like pressured, like, oh, I got to go fast, because they're always, everything seems like it's in a hurry. But that just might be the East Coast vibe. That's West Coasters.
There's this arrival into Orange County and Long Beach when you're coming from the north.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so funny because the arrival and it has speeds on it, and there's a fix, and it's called LAXB, like two B's, I think. LAXBB, I think.
Okay.
LAXB, and it's right at that fix at that altitude crossing restriction is when you go under the Class B airspace. And for years, dude, you put in the speed on the FMC so the plane would slow. And like years it's been like this, and they finally just out of the blue added 200 in there for a crossing speed.
Just a little courtesy.
Yeah, just keep everyone.
Hey, at least
they
named it,
I guess.
BB, meaning standing for
I know,
below
like
B.
how much harder could you? And
yeah.
I'm trying to remember. I don't think it was named that for a while because I remember there was this. If you looked on the reference chart, on the iPad, and it was there was this oil platform right there that was like marked the Class B perfect. I remember that used to be like I used to look at that to know when to slow, and then I can't remember when LAXB came, but now they even put the speed in there. So
I haven't seen that.
Like I said, and then you know what else was the latest enhancement this week? Remember I was showing you that AMM chart, that really detailed interactive cool chart that we have.
Mm-hmm.
And they have, they added a traffic overlay, which is kind of nice. So you can see what the lineup is, if you want a single engine taxi or whatever. So that's been around for a while. And this literally last week, I think, now there's a button that says NOTAMs, and you click on that and it'll highlight in red, like taxiway closures and stuff. It's like, I can finally say the NOTAM system is improving.
There's been an iteration.
Now, if they could just do that with slack lines, across canyons and put some sort of graphical representation. And if you don't know what I'm referring to, it's this accident that happened a couple months ago. Another accident we discussed.
Yeah, I was going to say, now that we're a full-time
Bianca Lirio, if you really wanted to
get
if you really want to break it down, talk to our boy.
It's podcast. We're just shilling for this guy's channel every time we just log in.
He's doing just fine.
We're like those YouTubers our kids watch where they just review other videos. They react. They call it reaction videos. That's always
where they have
just a reaction show. You just sit there.
Don't say that, dude. I will quit.
Max reacts.
That's it. I'm out.
That'd be great. Max reacts instead of Max's musings. It'd be even better.
That's what we have to add to the aviation community is our reaction to
just a reaction.
Juan Brown.
Yeah. Ooh. We'll give dumb thumbnails on YouTube. The Khaleesi can cut out big
just stop
pictures
right
of us
now.
All right. Let's see. I'm looking at the news that Reggie has put up here. No real interesting headlines that caught my eye here. I did watch a cool VTOL video. I started one on the Joby. I'm a big eVTOL guy. I'm following that.
Yeah, right.
And
it's a retirement gig. We all know.
They just flew it all around San Francisco. I got to watch the first few minutes of that YouTube video. It looks pretty cool. I think it's going to be sick. Yeah. I will. I'll put that in the show notes. It's worth watching. I've only watched the first few minutes, but I've
already got the paint scheme mocked up for my pickleball court landing pad.
Oh yeah.
As soon as we're there.
Do you think? Yeah, that would be so cool. What do you? Are you in the city or no? You are in the city, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I wonder what they're gonna do rules wise.
I don't know.
You already can't land it.
So so
we talked about this on the last show.
Yeah, that's right. We did. I was like, I think we just.
Yeah. I wonder if they'll change the rules.
Lots happened since then.
I know. Can't even keep up. Let's see what else. Any other news? The 200th G600 off the delivery floor for Gulfstream Maxes. I can see you're stunned, blown away,
dude. Well, so here's the thing: I dropped the 280 off at the service center.
Yeah,
Gulfstream Service Center. And I think, we've been doing this long enough to know there's two things that can really get under my skin. What's the first one?
Well, I know one of them is incompetence in service centers.
What's the other one?
Lying.
No, where I go to training and I always get really spooled up about that. But yeah, So
I
I
can't
was just
wait.
telling my wife, I'm like, I swear, if I pick this thing up, like they did some stuff in the landing gear, like replace the switch, and they have to jack it up and swing the gear, which they did every time. And I've had take off and I get all these caution messages. The landing gear the down lock is, I've had this twice, dude. When they mess with it, I told her, I'm like, listen, if I get there tomorrow and I take off and the landing gear won't retract, you were going to see a firestorm of fury. Like you have, I mean, I just did a practice tirade on her. I'm like, the level of incompetence that I've experienced at these service centers is unfathomable. And I'm like, listen, do not call me to come pick this airplane up until you fly in test pilots from Gulfstream and they take it for a lap around the pattern, because you've wasted enough of my time.
Oh, wow. I can't wait for this. When are you? So this is tomorrow?
Yeah.
Should we get the camera crew?
No, it's going to be fine.
This would be great. This would be a great meta glasses moment.
You know how long it takes to get an Uber to Mesa Gateway Airport from Scottsdale? It takes forever. And I've already done this and gone down there and then turned around and Ubered back. It just...
Sheesh. That's where I was wondering. I haven't seen your airplane in a while.
Yeah. It's getting some work done.
All right. Well.
Getting some 5G compliant transponders.
Oh, you're finally getting the little capacitor thing they put on there.
So no, it's like a swap out of the whole thing for, $1 million, whatever it is. I don't know. Stop. You're going to get me worked up. Let's move on.
This is all part of my strategy I need a little cortisol. This is to keep you awake.
That's what I mean. I need less cortisol. I need to go to sleep after this to have my 8-hour sleep window.
We got to get them all fired up.
I'm boxed in on both ends. You see, this is very...
Yeah.
Got to stay up late, but I got to get up early. You got to plan this out,
All right. Well, I think that's going to do it for the discussion here today, Max. Plenty of musings. I think that's good. Let's jump over to the reviews and comments here. We've got a lot to get to. I'll let you go ahead and read the review, and I'll read the comment.
Apple review. I love the show and can't recommend it enough to pilots in all phases of aviation. One thing I wish you guys would bring back an emphasis on telling a story at the end of the show. We have been kind of dropping the ball.
We've dropped the ball for years on that. Yeah.
I've been listening to we got shut down so many times. Yeah. I think we just got kind of jaded.
Yeah.
I've been listening to all the old podcasts, was dying laughing about some of the stories ending the show. Story about the King Air landing on the marijuana strip, or the hijacked MD-87, or the F-4 pilot getting his family jewels crushed. Wish you guys would tell more stories at the end of the show again. Keep the blue side up and go Eagles. Also, we need more Ted. Dude, Ted. This is a tough one.
We need more.
And he was just in town. We didn't even see him.
Missed
he had an overnight here.
Yeah, we missed it.
We were both out of town.
His Doha overnights are kind of on the on the back burner for a while.
It's got the 787. It's the airplane's in for flares and chaff.
Yeah.
So
he's getting
flare and chaff dispensers. Yeah.
That's the third pilot responsibility. You've got to man the defense system panel. Ted, quickly. I'm up making the bunks right now.
Yeah, I'm in rest.
Ted. Take evasive maneuvers.
They've launched. There's a SAM side. They got a lock on us, Ted. Drop the chaff.
Union rules dictate. I have 15 more minutes.
Yeah. I'm eating my crew meal in a minute.
My contractually obligated first class seat is not available.
I'm going to file a grievance over this if we live.
Wow. My representative will hear about this. Yeah. So anyways, yeah, I know. I'm sad we haven't had him, but that was a good email. And he said, go Eagles. I'm going to assume that's the Embry-Riddle Eagles and not the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take that. Yeah. Go Eagles. We also got a YouTube comment from our live stream show, who said simply, I love Dylan's background. I think that was the Inside Edition Bill O'Reilly background.
Yeah. Somebody got it.
I was able to hack together there. Now you and I tried to pick a late night background for this. For those of you that are watching on the video, it didn't really translate as much as I hoped. I wanted something a little bit more lighting that was nice and dark. You've got a nice house plant behind you, so I guess we failed.
No, we're going to create a good one, like Joe Rogan has. His looks cool.
Like a red robe.
Barnwood. barnwood and neon signs.
I like that.
How do we get that?
All right, it's your turn to do. Oh, well, let's see. Thanks to everyone who leaves us reviews and comments. You can shoot us an email, info@215podcast.com with your mailing address, and I'll happily send you a sticker for a review that you leave the show. All right, Max, on to the ad read. It's you're up this time. No Reggie today.
This episode brought to you by Advanced Aircrew Academy. If you've been flying professionally for a while, you've probably noticed something. The difference between a good pilot and a great one usually isn't stick and rudder. It's how they think, how they brief, and how they manage risk, and how they lead the cockpit when things get busy. That's the lane Advanced Aircrew Academy lives in. They teach practical, real-world crew skills, threat and error management, decision-making under pressure, communication that actually works, and building standards that make your operation smoother and safer. Whether you're upgrading, transitioning, or you're the one setting the tone for a flight department, this is the kind of training that pays off immediately. Check out Advanced Aircrew Academy and get on their schedule for an upcoming course.
It's on your schedule. You get it whatever you want.
That's right.
All right. Thanks to Advanced Aircrew Academy for their longtime sponsorship of the mailbag. First email says, Dylan and Maximus. So there I was, bladed hands pointing at each other, listening to your world famous podcast about the NBAA landing go around calculation estimation formula. And after rewinding that segment several times and trying to understand why this was so confusing to me, I got all nerdy and went back to my high school math days and wrote several example ALDs with a 6,000-foot runway constant and even drew a sketch using your stated steps. Then I went back to my former life as a C-130 zipper, suited sun god, and had a revelation that you guys or NBAA had made this way too complicated. Riddle me this, Dylan and Max, why don't you just take your ALD, subtract it from the landing distance available? It's exactly what we did. Those are the exactly the guide. Yes,
Literally,
that is the example in the thing, and I think here's where we go off the rails. Landing distance available. Example: landing distance available 6,000, ALD 2,000, remaining 4,000. Result: don't land past the 4,000 foot down the runway, or another way of looking at it, past 2,000 feet remaining marker. I'm currently flying a Challenger 604, and our unofficial industry accepted minimum runway LDA is 5,000. What am I missing from my calculation? Why does you or the NBAA calculation need to do anything with the 1,000 foot down and adding or subtracting that from the total runway LDA or whatever step that you described? It seems confusing and unnecessary. I understand that 1,000 feet down the runway is our desired touchdown point, but the purpose of this whole formula is to decide to land or go around if you touch down long, past 1,000 feet marks, and how far down the runway is acceptable to trying to land before you go around. You guys are awesome, and I look forward every 7 to 14 days. That's a pretty good number for your podcast and new topics that I have certainly initiated several discussions with the guys that I fly with. To all your haters with critiques, maybe this podcast isn't for you. There is a fast forward button that you can skip all the parts you don't like. Address below. I would love to slap a 21.5 sticker on my snowboard. And that's from JT. And he ends with a Joe Rogan quote that says, you will never get criticism from people that are doing better than you. That's probably not. That's probably pretty accurate.
It's hard for me to. Well, it's
Go
hard
ahead.
for me to
Yes.
recall the NBAA one because my airline one is so grounded in
Yeah,
my
it's
brain at this point. So yeah, you go ahead.
Here is the from what I understand, and we still need to make a video on this. I've got to get together with those guys. The ALD distance in his example, he said it was 2,000 feet. That's would be a little short for most jets, but ALD includes that 1,000 feet in the air, right? So
Yeah.
you basically just have to decide what number you want to use. There's nothing wrong with your procedure here. It's more conservative according to the NBAA guide, right? So if your ALD is 2,000, they say that's 1,000 feet of distance where the airplane is over the runway but still in the air, and then 1,000 feet of stopping on the pavement. That's my understanding. So the reason that they're making you subtract the air distance is they're saying, well, if this is your last touchdown point, you can delete that 1,000 feet because all we are concerned with is how long it's going to take for you to stop on the pavement. Are you following me on that, Max?
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So
Mhm.
that's why there's the extra step. So the math that JT is doing is good. but it's more conservative.
There you go.
So that's what the guide is trying to explain. And if you haven't downloaded the guide, you should go listen to that entire podcast where we talk about the new procedures guide for business aviation, and you can read that entire section yourself. But what I was talking about in the show was how I was trying to do it in ForeFlight and drag the distances out because that's the tricky part. You guys use a stopping margin, so it's different.
Yeah, it's different. It's hard, but I hope that ForeFlight embraces this in the in the performance calculations, and just because that's what's funny is there's like manual calculation if you do it through ACARS, but if we use this app, it has a satellite photo of the runway and it puts a big yellow line of where the latest touchdown
Does
point
it really?
is. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
Like I said, dude, this job, it keeps getting easier and the pay keeps going up. I feel like at some point those lines are going to cross, and that's when you're like, that's when we get replaced.
Yeah.
Pay keeps going up, the job keeps getting easier, and pretty soon they're just going to be like, all right, we're just going to pay all of you $5 million to just not show up for the rest of your career. Just get lost. I'll be like, sounds good.
Right.
It's fun. It's fun that lasted.
That's why that's why right now, the people that have been sitting in a coffee shop with a laptop working on Excel are learning this same.
Yeah. And then pretty soon there's going to be, and you're going to show up to Recurrent and you're going to see a semi truck back up with about 10,000 Optimus.
Yeah.
Actually, you won't, whatever the pilot group is, just cut that in about 30% is all it'll need, because they don't need all this rest nonsense.
I've calculated. Yeah. It'll just be in the plane the whole time.
Yeah. No, just be Optimus just sitting
one per
in the
plane.
Seat. Yeah. You don't even have to change the seats out. Nothing. Just.
Yeah. Hello.
It'll be the same guy that's doing your appendectomy is the same guy that's flying your plane, and the same one that's pumping your gas and taking the trash out of your house. It's all Optimus.
I wonder if they'll calculate the savings in like coffee consumed.
They won't care,
snacks.
It's all irrelevant as long as they can.
Think about how much less linen the laundry they'll have to do for Ted in the 787.
Spending all this
less guy in the bunk.
All this money on these grievances of the flare and chaff duty.
Yeah, right.
Settling those and the brings.
You know what I hope? I'll tell you what would be better. Let's hope that the airport shuttle van drivers are driven by Optimus.
Oh my God.
That'll make the job safer.
Please start that.
Yeah.
That's the worst, dude. I literally consciously try to sit in a middle seat in an airport van.
Smart. $2
and
bills.
Then people that don't wear
seats.
their $2 bills and middle seats. People that don't wear their seatbelts too are nuts.
Yeah. I agree.
It's the most dangerous part of the job. It's one of the worst parts of the job. I hate the hotel van. Parking at the airport when you go to work, and the hotel vans.
Yep. Agreed. JT, was this helpful for you? I don't know.
Yeah, it's clear. It's crystal clear now. Thank you. Hey, Dylan, thank you for explaining that so well.
This is one of these things that
I'm sure
just very difficult to explain over audio only.
I know it is. You need like a
really
whiteboard,
tough because your listeners are trying to follow. Like he said, he's rewinding it and trying to listen.
This would be great for them to bring up during Recurrent.
This is a great Recurrent topic,
because then someone can actually teach you something instead of just, or even they could even like animate a really good PowerPoint presentation. Like performance instead of like getting out the spaghetti charts and let's
get this figured out.
Let's get this worked out.
All right.
Hi, guys. Longtime listener, big fan of the Top 45 podcast.
Yes.
It's aviation podcast. But anyway.
Yeah.
I actually decided to write for the first time to you guys because I was listening back to some of the older episodes and realized how interesting these flying careers are that we all have almost no knowledge about. It honestly would be nice to bring back more of these unique aviation career stories to show to people out there there's more than CFI to regional to major. Also, bring back some of these funny story episodes, like the one of the stolen MD-83. It brings a little humor to all of us that we all need. You still need a funny bid story. Thank you for all you guys do, and it's crazy how 4 years of listening has flown by. Stay safe, and that's from Ahmed. Man,
a lot of people want the stories. We got to step up.
I know. Well, listen, anybody has any good stories, feel free to write in.
Okay, so this is what we did before, guys, and we could do this again. We actually had an all stories episode. That's probably the appropriate way to do this.
Yeah.
Because here's the problem. When what we originally did with these stories is we got guests on, and then at the end of their interview, would be like, tell us a great story. And a lot of them are like, I don't want to do that.
Or they're like put on the spot.
They're put on the spot. So we kind of retired it because it was just sort of becoming a challenge with the guests. But we have done, and what these guys are talking about are some of these stories like the MD-83 story and our buddy Sean landing at the wrong airport in Mexico. That was like an all story episode. That was super fun. Remember that? We had
that was fun.
A schedule, and we sat and like recorded all day long. That'd be the hardest part.
That was fun.
We would need to figure that out. But let's just do that. Let's do an all stories. So start thinking of your stories. If you've got a good one, you don't have to email us with the whole story, but just email us and say, "Hey, I want to participate in the good, funny, crazy stories."
Give us just like the bullet points, just real quick, just so we understand.
Because we did get a couple that were not good, and then we had to tell the people like, "Oh, the recording cut out. There was static in the line." Do you remember that? This guy's like, "I have a hilarious story." So we'll be the judge of that, but. Great suggestion, Ahmed. Okay, next email says, I heard someone complain about Max's epic ability to encounter shenanigans on a near daily basis and bring it to me purely for entertainment purposes. I found the show while trying to help my brother get into the regionals, but I stay almost exclusively for the reliable drip of Max's stories to give me a good laugh and raise my spirits while on the road. Don't listen to those guys, never stop the musings, and that's from Keith.
Oh. I'll try not to disappoint Keith.
He's going to get his airplane out.
Maybe I'll take a quick video of me just cutting into the tail of my airplane.
Keith, if you'd like to go down to the Gulfstream Service Center tomorrow, you can get a full.
Dude, the best was today. I'm in there and I have it. I took it off. It's in my shop, and I'm still tapping on it. And I'm like, now today I'm like, I don't know if I hear it rattling as much anymore. Like, what's going to happen is I'm going to cut into the thing and it's going to look fine. I mean, the cornucopia of profanity that will follow that will just be, it will weave a tapestry of
I'm not doing anything. We're going to have a
words.
Gulfstream test pilot come out and help you out.
I may demand it. Call Cub Crafters. This service bulletin. Look what you've done.
Send somebody out here right away. I've wasted too much time on this.
Oh boy. All right. Dylan and Max, huge congratulations on the 200th episode of the 21.5 podcast. You guys have truly mastered virtual hangar flying.
Yes.
Show
Not
totally reminds
flying.
me of the many days. Yeah. Hanging out at the airport, catching up with friends, talking about airplanes, flying, enjoying those moments of shared stories, laughs, talking about all things aviation. Well, anytime you want to come to the Deer Valley Airport, there's plenty of that going on.
Yeah. Yes, there is.
It's amazing how you've built a space that feels both entertaining and informative. Whether you're driving to industry updates, sharing personal anecdotes, or just bantering about all the things aviation, I've really enjoyed every episode, and I'm looking forward to many more of the laughs, stories, industry updates, and aviation fun that make 21.5 so special. Here's to 200 more. Best, and that's from Jim Dunn.
I got to meet Jim Dunn pretty recently when I was in recurrent training.
Right?
Yeah, I bumped into him at the training center. He said hi. It was awesome. Got to chat with him.
It's awesome. Dude, did I tell you about, I bumped into a listener in the gym at the hotel at San Jose.
Oh, really? Did he give you a spot?
Yeah, he was like on the cable machine and there's like a, pull-up bar.
Yeah.
And so I was like, hey, can I just jump in here for pull-ups? And he's like, sure. And then I was kind of going between a bench and that. And then he walks over and I'm like, and he's like, hey, are you Max from the 21.5 podcast? I like had earbuds in, I'm like, what?
Yeah.
So it was cool.
Did you? It's because you
never know.
You were wearing your 21.5 sweatsuit. I'm assuming, is that why they?
Obviously
they approached you.
Mm-hmm. And my big gold chain with the 21.5
Ask
medallion.
me about my
on it.
podcast shirt you had on.
Yeah.
Did you ask him for a
Very
spot? Did he
low-key.
get you in for a couple reps after that?
No,
I'm going to throw up
listen,
225 for 10 here.
I don't know.
bro.
I don't know how many hotel gyms you've worked at it, but usually the dumbbells only go to 50 pounds. Okay, so it's more of a
I thought you. Yeah, it's just flex.
higher on the reps. We'll say.
That's right. Hold my phone. Watch this. Look at this form. Check my form here. Love it. Great emails from everyone. Thank you so much. Great to hear from everyone and their opinions. We're going to do more stories. We're not going to shut Max up. No more. We're not shutting off the musings anytime soon. If you want to jump into the conversation, info@215podcast.com is the email address to get the conversation started. All right. Khaleesi, cue the flight advice music. We've got a good one today.
Yeah. Careers in the climb and the journey ain't straight. From regionals to fractionals, it's never too late. Maybe you're burned out, maybe just lost sight. We'll help you level off and set that glide right. We've seen busted check rides, busted hearts too, but it's all pilot life and we've been there, dude. So tune in, drop a line, let's clear the ice. We'll keep it real. Welcome to Flight Advice. Harvey Watt got your back when you're down for the count. Life, health, disability, that's what they're about. From medicals to claims, they'll set you right. Keeping pilots protected day and night. So write in your story, don't think twice. We got your 6. It's Flight Advice.
You get a good one. Oh, this is a great topic. Commuting. Your favorites. It says, gents, love the show, love the humor, love all the advice you give. 1010 would recommend. I just started with United in February. I live in Salt Lake City and was awarded the bus out of Denver. I failed the AON for Delta and have not gotten a chance to retake it or gotten any traction with getting an interview on the calendar. I just finished my active duty commitment and am now with an Air Force Reserve unit in SLC and will be starting active orders for 3 years with them in May. It doesn't look like we'll have time at this point to get hired and finish indoc before those orders start. So my question is this. Following my commitment with the reserves, would you walk away from 3 years of seniority at United to maybe start with Delta and hopefully eventually get based in Salt Lake City with Delta? My primary concerns are commuting, furlough, and seniority. I feel like with how much United is moving compared to Delta, they are a stronger company, but would it be wise to trade that for the possibility of not having to worry about commuting? Obviously, a lot can change in 3 years, so the standard answer might be it depends, but I wanted to get your take. Stats, 35, wife and kid, parents live in Salt Lake City. Thanks in advance, Anonymous. Whew.
So, okay. So tell me how you understand what's going on here.
So from what I understand, you're talking about the military commitment stuff, right?
Yeah. So he just started with United and now he's got military orders. So he's going to be gone on active orders for 3 years,
Yeah.
right? So he's going to accrue 3 years of seniority at United without actually having to be there. So that's a pretty good deal to come back and be 3 years.
I was starting
more
active
senior.
orders. It doesn't. The only thing I'm confused about is it says it doesn't look like I will have the time at this point to get hired and finish indoc. So I think that's talking about if he interviewed at Delta. So
yeah, so it sounds like his Delta ship has sailed until he gets back from active orders.
That's my understanding is that he would need to wait 3 years to get on with Delta.
God, and he's not going anywhere.
Yeah,
dude.
with the family and everybody.
Parents live in Salt Lake. Commuting would be tough, but commuting from a city that a major airline has a base in to your job would be so hard.
We have two friends that do it
mentally. I know, and they don't seem to think it's that big of a deal. But for me, that would just be a total mind. You know what? And then you got to figure he's also 35, right? So he has
30 years to go.
Some quick math here. 30 years left. And you're talking about 3 years. That's 10% of his career. Like potentially giving up a seniority. I don't know, dude. And not to mention, say you did get on at Delta, you're actually going to have to suffer for those 3 years of being like on weekend reserve and commuting from New York or whatever, where this case, you just roll up 3 years more senior. You're like, all right, let's
and
where do I go?
Without looking at this, I believe that there are far more retirements at United than Delta as well. So your movement on the list, I think, is going to be much slower. Your career progression will be slower at Delta.
Well, and here's the other thing too. Like, if it were like he lived in Atlanta,
Mhm.
like Salt Lake is not the most powerful Delta base, right? Like, there's a little bit of wide body action out of there, but from what I understand, it's not a ton, and it's very, very senior,
Yeah.
right? So in all likelihood, I mean, I guess it depends on how you play it, but there's also a strong possibility you're going to, even if you worked at Delta, you'd be commuting to somewhere else as part of a most common career progression.
Yeah.
Right. So,
okay, I'm gonna give you the other side of this. Anyone who's listened to our show for any amount of time knows that we are pretty anti-commuting in general. Here, I'm gonna give you the opposite argument why this might not be as bad to stick with United. And that's because Salt Lake City is actually very centrally located between Denver, San Francisco, and LA. It's almost directly in the middle of all of those big United bases. So what that means is when you're, like you're saying, Max, if you were at Delta at a smaller base, you're kind of hanging on for dear life in a way. What can you hold? You know, what's the bet? Your optionality is much smaller because your goal is just to be based in Salt Lake. Whereas here you've got 3 bases that are all pretty equidistant. So your options are higher. So it's possible you would have a better schedule and quality of life being a commuter on United out of Salt Lake than being home based at Delta. Yes, you still have to physically commute, and that sucks. But there is a possibility that you would get to it, like you're saying, get to a wide body faster. I would say is probably more likely. And you just may have more options. I mean, to me, honestly, my biggest factor of quality of life is to be on the biggest fleet so that you have the most flexibility in lines and ability to trip trade. That's what, to me, would be one of the biggest things I'd be looking at. Just remembering my time. I obviously, at Southwest, that's all sort of a given. But, Airbus Denver, I imagine, is a huge base with lots of options. So, I don't know. Any thoughts on that?
yeah, I don't know, man. Yeah, I think that as much as it pains me to say it, I think you got to kind of stick at United.
And you can always reevaluate. It sounds like you have 3 years to evaluate this too.
Yeah, and see what happens.
You can see,
but it doesn't really seem like if Delta calls it back for another interview, he's going to be able to leave during his active orders to go interview.
And the other thing too is,
I don't think it works when you're like, you got to get through in-dock before then you can leave on go on mill leave is I'm pretty sure how it works, and it seems like what he's alluding to. So
right. The other thing too to think about is, we're speaking like, oh well, Delta's just hiring in 3 years.
Yeah,
you may not even have the option to get hired at Delta in 3 years.
It's just like
it's so hard to know.
Yeah, it's hard. It's a tough one, dude.
It's a tough one.
Driving to work is priceless.
Yeah,
it just is. But especially it's a city like you want to live in, that you have the opportunity to.
Yep. Oof. Maybe by then United and Delta will merge, and then this won't be a problem.
Yeah, there's no overlap there.
Won't be a problem. That's it is a tough one. Or let's see. I wonder, depending on how old your kid is. I mean, maybe you get them through school, and then you can move.
Yeah, can always move.
You could move too. So, all right. That was a good email. We haven't done a commuting one in a while.
Yeah, it's just a tough one. Like, I don't know that we gave some real clear advice, but just things to think about.
Yeah, more things to think about. But yeah, it's. Let us know what happens, Caleb. Good luck. Thank you for your service, and great move getting hired and then going into skipping out on the first couple of years.
I've heard of a few people doing that. That's like a total genius move.
I mean, that's kind of what you did, where you were at Southwest and then basically took that leave, like basically for, was it 3 years?
No, I wish. No, it was a year and a half. Like great. It's
the same thing. Just to be out of the
such
junior.
a great deal.
I did the same thing too at American Eagle. I was just left for 5 years.
COVID was so great. Yeah. I'm just kidding.
I'm just kidding. What?
I know, but you immediately agreed, savage.
I didn't agree. I said what? Oh, man. Well, that's going to do it for Flight Advice. Thanks for writing in. If you've got a quandary, commuting or otherwise, you can visit the website, 215podcast.com, fill out the anonymous form, or just shoot us an email, your choice. We'll happily tackle it in a future episode. We'll at least give you something to think about. I don't know if we can solve all your problems, but we got some other really good flight advices in here too that I wanted to read. One from a contract pilot who hasn't been paid. I really want to get to that one next episode too, because that'll be a good one. Did you ever have that happen?
No.
You didn't have to
I don't think so.
Get the baseball
like
bat
stiffed?
out. Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, I've got some stories of that. We'll talk about that next time.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
God, what would you do? I would make a scene.
Yeah,
like just go down to their office or something.
We'll go through it. We'll tease that up for the next one.
I'd be pissed.
Yeah. More pissed than at the service center, or you do the practice tirade too.
It just depends. It just depends on how things go.
This is great. I can't wait for this tomorrow.
You want to come? You want to?
I kind of do. Yeah, I sort of would just. The three of us get in an Uber.
It's gonna be fine because now I have it all built up. In my head.
Right. So you're ready,
dude. Like last time, remember I flew out to Dallas and then flew back. I was like, "You gotta be kidding."
Might have also flown to the wrong airport. I almost
the Dallas Service Center.
Yeah.
Dallas.
Yeah, of course. Dallas.
You mean the one in Fort Worth or the one in Dallas?
Dude, I literally almost just made the same mistake too. I'll have to tell you about that. Dallas. Let's go. Dallas Love. Perfect. Oh, Alliance. Oh,
yeah.
Ooh, wait a minute.
That's in Fort Worth.
Okay. I think that's a good place. Did we keep you up long enough? Are we in the correct window here? Are we shut down, or do we have to? Do we need to vamp for a few more minutes to?
No, I'm on my sleep schedule. I'm good.
You're good.
You got to prioritize sleep.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Well, that will do it for this episode of the 21.5 Show. Thanks to everyone who participated and sent in their comments, emails, reviews, and advice.
Got these stories coming. I'm kind of
so jacked up for the stories now. So what we'll do is we'll offer a couple days of recording availability. We'll get your we'll just have a marathon.
Well, calm
recording.
down. Just
it's gonna be spectacular.
Citizen with the
one step at a time.
What the stories are.
This is great.
We got to compile.
You want to do one? You want to do one episode with all the good stories, or are we going to take listener stories and then just shoot one out at the end of every? You have to contemplate that. And
I don't know.
Then do we turn the stories into raps?
Oh.
We'll have to think about.
We'll have to think about it. Yeah, you're right. We better not commit to anything this juncture.
That's right. Okay. Thanks to Harvey Watt, Advanced Aircrew Academy, our boy Tim Pope. What if we get a Tim Pope story? Maybe.
He just started flying not that long ago. Don't put the pressure on him.
Yeah. Okay. You fly safe, Tim. Don't get pressured into.
Don't worry about the stories, Tim. You just
find the barbecue. James,
control, power, drag, identify, verify, feather. Don't listen to us.
Thanks to James O'Neill, Aircom Calculator, Veris Jet Sales, all of our partners make this show possible. We will be back with another episode in the coming 7 to 14 days. Until then.
No hate.
Till then, remember.
Flexibility is the key to air power.
See ya.
We look forward to seeing you next time.
Set up, Max on the graveyard run, coffee in the cup, yeah, the whole thing's barely begun. New York close calls, now the whole world gotta take. TSA and Phoenix got patience ready to break. Mailbag full of heat, listeners want the real. Ramp stories, jump seat drama, tell them how I feel. From the Cub in pieces to the airline sky. Just two pilot voices keeping aviation live.
Flight advice came with a hell of a choice. Seniority climb, more the live and bass voice. 3 years in the bank, but the commute stays mean. Quality of life versus the long game dream. Max in the hangar with the service and the pain. One more busted invoice, man, he's going insane. That's why they tuning for the truth, not the spin.
Two pros on the mic, let the real talk in. It's the frequency, pilots tune in and vibe. 21.5 where the pros come alive. Checklist, jet fuel, and stories that fly. It's the cockpit crew, now let's take it sky high. Now let's take it sky high.
The statements made in this show are our own opinions and do not reflect, nor were they under any direction from any of our employers.